Good morning, and welcome to Winnipeg, to cold Winnipeg. I was noticing that the temperature isn't displaying on my clock here. That the outside temperature usually displays right here. It died last night. When I got up this morning, my furnace was running, which wasn't unusual. And then it shuts off, and it seemed to me that a very few minutes later it started up again. I thought, well, that's funny. So I checked my my other thermometer, and it was -10 at that time. Now, this was about an hour ago. I think it's warmed up to about -8 right now. But it is still dark outside. We're not going to have our sunrise for about 45 minutes or more. But I want to get going here. And if the sunrise is extra special, I'll tack it on at the end of today's episode. Otherwise, that's the way it goes. Now, I did come back to the model table last night. And I did work a little bit on this, as you can see. It'll be in the extensive rollback. Yeah, we're back into the rollbacks again. You know what? I think I'm going to save the specials for something special. Not the rollbacks. It's too awkward to try and get everything all organized. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but it's easier for me to have a rollback in the video, even though the chronological order of stuff is kind of off a little bit. But that's okay. You're only out by just a few hours. Now, I checked the mail this morning and my email, and it appears that the photo etch parts for the pulpit are in Winnipeg, as near as I can tell. And the post office here in Winnipeg has put out 3 updates real early this morning. Like they go 24 hours a day, and so I would think there is the possibility that those parts will be here today, but whether they'll be delivered in time for today's episode, I don't know. It could be that that's what we'll have as a little special, taking a nice close look at those parts. On the other hand, I might include them in today's episode. Depends when they're delivered and how things go. The anchor chain, there's still nothing on the anchor chain. I'm still getting the same information from the delivery people that have it out of China that as I had a week ago. So nothing new there. I think it'll eventually get here. We don't need the anchor chain for a while anyway, but I'm really anxious to see what a 3D printed anchor chain is going to look like, especially when we stick on the macro lens and look at it up close. Yeah, that kind of makes everything look terrible, doesn't it? You see it as it really is. Yeah, it's kind of like me. If I was to move in really close, you'd see me as I really am, and I probably don't look that good. Okay, let's roll back and see how it is we got to this place. Well, this is kind of unusual. I don't get this happening very often. But the sun is shining in the front window. It's just about going to set, and it's shining right across our repair job here that we did. I would think this is probably dry enough to sand now. It's probably about 3 hours since we put that on there. Although it is a little powdery. Okay, we're all sanded down here now. I'm not feeling any sign of that repair job we did there. I don't think there's any need to put the macro lens on because I'm just not seeing anything. We're looking at it actually pretty close. And the sun is still coming through the front window. Yeah, I like that. Now I'm afraid that I'm going to have to apologize here because I accidentally get my fingers in your vision. Yeah, I'm usually more aware of what the camera is seeing, or in this case, what it's not seeing. Sorry about that. Well, these bits are extremely sharp. Maybe it's not maybe if I turn it backwards I might have better luck. Or maybe not. There we go. Okay, now being as I am not going to be painting this for a while, I'm going to make sort of a, you might call it a sleeve that will go around here. Yeah, we'll just cut it about there. It doesn't need to be any longer than necessary here. Now, this putty that we put on here, it is very, very soft and would be very easily gouged. So that's what this is all about. I just want to see if I can't just put something on there just temporarily so that when I'm flipping this thing around and working on the other end of it, I'm not going to be accidentally gouging out our nice repair job that we did here. And now that brings something to mind here. I think that this is water soluble. In other words, if I was to take a drop of water and drop it on the side there, I do believe it would rehydrate and get mushy. Now, that's my opinion. It could be that it's like concrete, and once it hardens, it, water isn't going to hurt it. But I'm just wondering, what kind of primer would be the best to go over this? Maybe Jason Port, you have had a lot of experience with paint and so on, if you're listening. What would you use to go over this that I don't need to worry about rehydrating it? And you know what I'm trying to say here. So yeah, if you don't mind in the comments, and we're not going to be painting it right away anyway, so I've got lots of time. And there are probably other people that would know as well, what would be the best. It could be that it says on the tube. Now, how am I going to hold this together here? Where's my stapler? This may or may not work. May not work. Okay, that's funny. I would have thought it would have gone right through. What happened? Is there even a staple there? Oh yeah, there is. Okay, we'll think of something here. Okay, the stapler did work. I just didn't squeeze it hard enough. I thought it should have worked. Okay. Now, I was thinking of maybe putting some tape around there and fastening it on. But you know what? I might not need to. Or maybe I'll need to. Put it on that bulkhead that's running down. It'll keep it from working forward. It's not going to go back, that's for sure. Okay, now let's get the ship turned around here. Okay, let's have some fun and put these on. I think it's probably safe to put these on now. Alright, this one probably goes here. Yeah, that'll go there. And the other one will go on the other side. Okay, let's recompose and see if we can make it fit. Okay, there's it's not solid all the way across. So I guess just this edge here is going to do the adhering. Nice tight fit. Actually, it's an excellent fit. I wonder, should I use the extra thin here maybe? I'll worry about this later. Actually, it's pretty much in the right place now. It's going to take very little sanding. Well, Trumpeter, you did good again, because these are two separate pieces, and they fit together really well, and then this whole thing has to fit perfectly into this. Yeah, you guys did really good, Trumpeter. I take my hat off to you, except I don't have a hat. I got a toque. You know, all Canadians have toques. Yeah, that's almost perfect. I'm very pleased. Oh, let's swing the camera around now and do this one. Okay, let's do a dry run. This one's not going quite as good as the other one did. Let me just stand up here and move over so I can look straight down in there. Well, let's give it a go here. Get enough on so that it can sort of meld. Might as well do this at the same time, I guess. Okay. We got enough in there? Yeah, I think so. I wonder what's going to happen here now. I'm actually pressing down fairly hard. Okay, that one actually is fitting really good. Just let it get right in the crack there. Okay, now I don't want to grab onto it where it might be a little bit wet. Just wanted to, yeah, that worked out really well. Really well. Okay, now I think the way to make sure we've got this lined up right, let's double check, it's supposed to go like this. Let's put the shaft in and then we'll be able to tell. Okay, does it go like that? Or is it supposed to go, or is the other one supposed to go on there? Maybe I should look at the manual, right? No, that's not right. Okay, so it has to be this one here. Okay, it does not appear to be lining up quite as well as I'd hoped. it's going to take a little bit of pressure there. I'm wondering if I should take a drill bit and just sort of enlarge this just a little bit, because you can see how it's, you know, it's wanting to pull it away from the bottom of the hull there. Actually, I'm pressing fairly hard on it, so yeah, I think I'm going to put a drill bit in there and just by hand, just enlarge that just very, very slightly. Now there is the other thing we could do is if I was to just put it in like just a little bit, then it fits. But then I'd have to cut the shaft off. No, I think I'm going to just try and enlarge this hole here. This bit is 10/1000ths of an inch bigger than this shaft. In other words, 1/100th of an inch. And now it's probably going to be a little bit, you might call a sloppy fit now, but on the other hand, I don't think we need to worry about, you know, if water gets in there or not. So here we go. Let's see if that made the difference. It's better, but I'd like it so that it's not lifting up. Let's just give it a little bit more here. That might be a little bit more than I had planned. I hope I didn't make you jump when it caught like that. It's still not quite. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. You know what I could do is I could put a slight bend in the shaft, but I don't have to do that. It's very close here. Okay, I'm going to just keep working at it until I get it. Okay, I've moved you over onto the other side, and it's just doesn't want to cooperate here. And I have concluded that I know what the problem is. And that is that right here, so let me take this out. Right here, it is being hung up. And I was thinking if I take my round file and just very, very gently, just a little bit, only just probably 1/1000th of an inch here. So I don't want to enlarge the hole that's going in here. I just want to take this. I suppose I could put my electric drill on the end of this file, and then that would sort of work too, wouldn't it? Okay, that might actually be enough. You can see on the file there I'm getting plastic, right? Let's just try it. Yeah, let's just leave well enough alone here. I think we can probably get it to stick down. Oh, maybe just a tiny bit more. Famous last words. Yeah, that's fitting pretty good, isn't it? Okay, I've done the other one on the other side. It's pretty much the same way. It's fitting really nice, but of course it's not going to want to stay there. So I'm thinking that maybe if let me zoom you back here. I put a rubber band around here. If I can get it adjusted just right, just to hold those skegs down against the hull, just in the right place. There's little marks there that I can hardly see. Where are they here? I have to put on my stronger glasses here. Okay, now I can just barely see these little marks where they're supposed to go. I've got my rubber band here adjusted pretty much right. Maybe I could have it pulled down just a little bit there. There. Now it's actually perfect right there. Now I'm going to rely on the melding properties of the extra thin, not the quick setting. Now this should dissolve the plastics, and it's not going to be what you would call a real strong joint, but it should be pretty good. Oh, let's see if I just wiggle it just a little bit here. Just to make sure it's seated about as good as it can get. All right. Now I'm not going to mess with the other side, because when I do, I'm going to probably readjust my rubber band here, which right now is, you might say, perfect. So we'll just leave this for just a little bit here. I wonder if there's anything I can put on there, just put a little bit more pressure down. I don't know what though. I sort of need the holder down here. Although it's actually doing pretty good. Okay, I have done the other side here the same way. And I would think that after a few hours, this melding should make this fairly strong. I'm going to leave the shafts in place, because there'll be less chance of these pieces being broken off if they can't twist. And yeah, it's not going to hurt anything to leave the shafts in. And I think that's probably it. Look at the time. It's 10 to 9 already, so I sort of kind of want to keep going here, but I think I'm going to call it quits. Don't want to overdo it, or I'm going to make myself sick of it. And I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I am really enjoying this build, even though every once in a while I might get a little bit cranky and curse the clock or something, which you probably noticed you haven't heard today, because I did shut it off. Anyway, yeah, we'll see you in the morning. Okay, it is morning, and we have had our sunrise over an hour ago. Coming up later and later every day, though, now. And I guess it will until probably just before Christmas. Okay, as I mentioned, I'm going to leave these in. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to help to make it a little bit stronger. Now, maybe what I'll do though is I'll just back them in so that there's less chance that there's less stuff sticking out that can catch on something, if you know what I mean. So they'll still support it the way I've got it here. Now, back to our sunrise. It was kind of nice, and what I'm going to do with it is, the plan right now is I will attach it at the end of today's episode. I'll adjust it so that it doesn't run more than a minute. Okay, let's think, what are we going to do next? Maybe we should, just for the fun of it, we should stick the propellers on, just to see what they look like. Mind you, that's going to be kind of deceptive, because the hull is not painted, but I'm kind of anxious just to see how they're going to fit. So let's just get this back out here and recompose. Okay, now there is numbers on the backs of these blades here. For instance, this blade here, I can just barely see it, but there says a little 4 on there. Okay. So the 4, and once again I'm going to be getting my fingers in your way, goes on that one. Okay, this one is number 3. I can just barely see it right on that blade right there. Don't know why I'm trying to show it to you, because I'm sure you can't see it. I did have these in order. I can't see this one. Well, it's got to go here. I think that looks all right. They're not going to turn, they're going to be stationary, but I guess we will try to position them in such a way that the light is going to catch them the best. Now, mind you, this hull is going to be sitting on the bottom of the case anyway. I am thinking of maybe putting it on a mirror so that at least part of it will show up. I don't know. Mirrors used to be really cheap. You used to be able to buy these cheap 4-foot long mirrors that were 12 inches wide, and they were only about $10. But I think the price of mirrors and glass and stuff like that is just skyrocketed in comparison to everything else. Now, at least that's the way I remember it from a few years ago when I was buying glass, for the front of my clocks and that kind of stuff. Okay, looks all right, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay, I was wondering about these rudders here. If you notice, there's this what looks like almost what I would have called a trim tab on the rudder of an aircraft, but I don't think that water rudders had trim tabs, but it's the same on both. So at first I thought, okay, one's got to go on one side and the other's got to go on the other side, but if they're both the same, it doesn't really matter. And it is a very, very tight fit. I can force it in. I'm probably going to have to file it down just a little. Okay, now the thing is, do I put this skeg part in now for ease of painting the hull, and then try and get the rudder on afterwards, or am I going to risk possibly breaking this loose? So I'm thinking that maybe what we should do is make sure this is going to fit first. Yeah, that's going to fit okay. And then just after everything is painted, these pieces are painted separately, and there, I got it. Okay, then after everything is there, the hull and everything is painted, then just sort of slip this into place and just put a little bit of extra thin or something in the hole, and I realize that it could be easily broken off, but let's just see how they're going to look here. There we go. Yeah. Okay, now for the bilge keels. If you will recall, we marked the inside of number 1 with this blue Sharpie. And I think I'm going to use tape to hold them in place. Okay, it looks like it would go better this way. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a line right there. We'll recompose. And I don't know if this is going to lock into place. I remember when I did them on the Bismarck, they kind of locked into place. But these ones don't seem to want to do that very much. Well, a little bit right there. Yeah, a little bit. Okay, I'm going to get myself a bunch of little short pieces of tape made up here so I can just sort of lock them into place. And then I might also use rubber bands, just because tape slowly lets go, whereas the rubber band will always keep pressure on the... Anyway, you know what I'm trying to say here. Can't work and talk at the same time. Okay, let's just recompose here somehow. I'm noticing when I glance over into the monitor here to see how things are going that the gray does not want to show up very good. Now, let's try and get that as good as I can here. This is just basically to hold it. Now, how does it look away over here at the other end? It looks like the whole thing should go this way a little bit. Oops, I pulled too hard. Okay, now I know you can't really see that line. Well, maybe you can right there. That you just see the line just underneath the edge there. Okay, I do think that I can, tweak this exactly into the right place here. Once I get the I was going to say elastic bands on, but nobody uses the term elastic bands anymore. They also, everybody says rubber bands. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Pretty good. I'll, you know what, I'm going to slip the macro lens on and just move in right there so you can see the lines, because probably a lot of you watching right now don't know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about lines on the side of the hull. Okay, I'm just going to remove this tape here just so that we can move this up and down. Alright, now you can clearly see the line. And this almost fits into that line if I get it in the right place. If I actually it does fit. Sorry about getting my fingers in your way again. I'm going to put the tape back. Now, I'm expecting a delivery coming on Amazon this afternoon. I don't know when it's coming, but I want to have this episode wound up and in the can, as they say, because I want to. It's not model ship related, but it is computer related, and I want to. Might take me a bit of time to get the item installed. Okay, yeah, let's get our rubber bands on there and see. I mean, rubber bands. I'll get it right eventually, folks. Can't think about two things at the same time. Okay. Maybe I should have used smaller rubber bands to give more tension, but I think all I have to do is just get it to hold the plastic against the plastic. All right, now I'll get this back on the model table and get everything adjusted just perfectly, and then maybe I'll slip on the macro lens and we'll put on some. I'm going to use extra thin. I was thinking of using the quick setting, but I think I'll just use extra thin. But I'm going to wrap today's episode up. So yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow. And if I remember, the sunrise will be next, and it runs for just under 2 minutes. So, see you tomorrow.